Okay, so I'm going to be using a standard tuning here, E, A, D, G, B, E, and it seems to work pretty fine for it. The initial kind of arpeggiation, some bends in there that can be a little bit tricky if you have struggles with bar chords, but nothing too wild. So for this initial section here, we're just kind of arpeggiating through a couple chords here, a E major 13, a D flat sus2 look, and there's this fun little bend in there. So we'll start by the first area here, so the E major 13, we're going to hit the open low E, then we're going to skip down to the D6, 6th fret on the G, 4 on the B. Okay, real cool sounding chord there. And we'll kind of pick through it again, but we'll hit the open low E, 6D, go to that 4B, and we're going to want to give it a little bend and release. Alright, something like that. And then, as best as we can, we're letting the other notes kind of ring over the top of it. And then we just kind of pick through the whole thing again, the open low E, 6D, 6G, 4B. Alright, then hit the open low E, and then just kind of bar the 4s on the B and E, keep that same 6D and G, and just hit that full chord. Okay, so that first bit. And essentially we're going to keep everything the same, but we're just going to change the bass note. Alright, we're going to want a D flat or a C sharp. Okay, so the 4th fret on the A. So this is kind of where like the whole bar chord action comes into play here. And like I said, everything gets picked the same. We just want that 4A in place of the open low E. So we pick the 4A, 6D, 6G, 4B. Okay, go back to the 4A, 6D. And then here's where kind of a little bit of a trick needs to happen, where we'll hit the 4A, 6D, but we want to bend that 4B again and release it. So, it's a little bit trick because we're barring everything here and we got this. So what I like to do is just kind of quickly, after, picking the 4, 6, jump that index finger down to that 4B and then give it the little bend and release that we need. Okay, so it takes a little bit of quickness there and, being cool with like having everything held down. So it might take a little bit of practice getting it. Alright, and then after you do that, you can just get right back to barring the 4s. And then we just pick right down through everything, 4A, 6D, 6G, 4B. Alright, and then we just pick the 4A and then just strum everything under it. The 6D, 6G, 4B, and E. Okay, so we went. Something like that, okay? So going back and forth between that E position and then the D flat or C sharp position, eventually we'll get to this little A spot where we just hit, and it's kind of an interesting thing. It's like got this sharp 11 thing in there, but it kind of resolves. So we do the open A, 1D, open B. Okay, do open A, 1A, D again, and then we make the 2B, open A, 1D, and then we go open B, 2B. And then it kind of resolves just to an A, so do the open A, 2D, and you don't really need to include the 2, the open A, 2D, and we don't really need to include the 2 on the G, just kind of hit the 2B with it. Okay, so we went. Just kind of keep the D muted. If you want to just hit the full A chord, that's cool. Up to you. Other than that, there's a little section there where we move to a B position, and it's like a B6, 9 thing happening, and it's kind of a funky little positioning here. I like to come up here, frets are a little bit closer, so it makes it easier, and we do the 7E, 9A, 6D, 8G, and instead of just kind of like trying to do something like that, I kind of have to sacrifice some of the notes ringing over each other and just do like, hit the 7, 9, A, and then move over and, try to keep the position like that now. So we do 7E, 9A, 6D, 8G. Alright, and here's where I just kind of like try to let everything ring now. Come back, hit the 7E, and then we want to hit that 8 on the G and give it a little bend and release. Okay, it's that same note that we've been bending and releasing, just up here now. Alright, and then we come off to our A again. But here it's just kind of a straight up A sus, so we do the open A, 2D, open B to 2, open A, and then just strum the 2D and 2B, optional 2G. Alright, and after that, there's this section where we kind of, it feels like we're starting at the D flat or the C sharp there. Okay, our same. Okay, it feels like we're kind of starting there. And then after we do that initial bit there, we're going to start this whole run of arpeggiating kind of major sevens to sus spots here. And it goes to this A major 7 where, you know, just do like a regular A chord, open A, 2 on the D, G, B, but we want this 4 on the high E. Alright, and now we're going to be like picking through like the E, B, and G string here, where we'll count that strum as hitting the 4 on the E, and then we start this 2B, 2G, 2B, and then just kind of pick that whole thing again. Just pick that out about 3 times. And then we do these little transitional shapes where we do hit our 2s on the G and B with the 4, E, walk it down to this kind of D7 look. I can't guarantee that's what it is, but it looks like that. So 2 on the G, 1, B, 2, E. Okay, getting real kind of jazzy in here now. And then we move to our B flat sus 2 that we've been using, but now we're just going to pick through it like we're doing the previous stuff. So pick the 4B, 4G, 6D, 4G again. Do that about 3 times. Strum them together, the 6 with the 4s. Just kind of one hit to a transitional chord with the 4D, 5 on the B and G. Back off to our A major 7, the open A, 2s on the D, G, B, 4, E. Pick through the high strings again like we did before a few times. Okay, another transitional where we hit the 2s with the 4. Now we're going to walk it up now, 5, G, 7 on the B and E. Okay, it's some of the notes that we had down here, but we get this higher note in there too, the high B note. Alright, and next spot, I would say this is like the shape is like an E major 7. I'm not sure what the bass note over the top is, so it may be just a different chord, but the shape of it is E major 7 look. So that same A shape up here, we got the 11 E, 9 on the B and G, and you just pick through it, hit like the 11 E, 9B, 9G, 9B, just kind of the same way we've been doing. 3 times, hit them all together, walk it down now, and kind of a different shape here. 6G, 5B, 7E. Alright, back to our A major 7, pick it up just the same, and then do the same walk up we did before, the 2s with the 4, up to the 5 with the 7th. Alright, and now we're going to just go to our D flat sus2, the 6 and 4s on the set of strings up here. Pick it out. Alright, hit that. Hit the same transitional we used with that before. Alright, the 6 with the 4s, to the 4 with the 5s. Back off to the A major 7. And with this, we just kind of hit it once, let it ring. And now we're going to pick through it a little bit, where we hit like the open A, go to an open B, do 2D, open A, 2D. This is kind of like a real like subtle chill spot here, and then we move to this G flat sus2 look, where instead, you know, if you're cool with doing the big old stretch like this, you can do that, but just to keep it simple for you, just do something like this where we do the 2E, mute the A and D, hit the 1 on the G, and you mute in the A and D just by kind of letting your ring lightly touch the A, and then your first index here lightly touching the D as you're getting your something like that. Okay, just kind of hit that, let that ring a moment, and then you can come over and hit the 4 on the D for the octave. Alright, and then after that, you're just kind of essentially repeating like the first initial kind of run-throughs of the riffs that we had, and you should be all set.